Oh no, my bank book is missing. I distinctly remember placing it at the back of this drawer. Could it be them? Despite supporting my eldest son and his wife, who have been living together for several years, they've ignored me for 3 years without even saying thank you. I simply wanted them to show a little gratitude. But it's okay now. I will never forgive them. I'm a 56-year-old retiree, having left my job to care for my unstable mother-in-law. Currently, I work from home while providing care. Although I was a few years away from retirement, I couldn't leave my mother-in-law living alone, so I decided to live with her. My husband is away on business and comes home once a month at best. But when he does, he brings lots of vegetables and Japanese sweets that my mother-in-law likes. Thank you. I'm so grateful for everything you do for me. I wish I could have fed your father too. My mother-in-law says every time she expresses her gratitude to us. My father-in-law passed away over 10 years ago from cancer, unable to eat his favorite foods in the end. My mother-in-law often regrets not having done tests earlier, and she wishes she could have fed him the delicious foods she eats now. My mother-in-law's condition varies greatly from day to day. Some days she's bedridden and barely eats, while on other days she's energetic and goes for a walk by herself. Her unpredictable behavior often surprises me, but as long as she enjoys her days, I'm happy to watch over her. However, there's a troublesome event that occurs 2 or 3 times a month for both my mother-in-law and me. It's when my eldest son and his wife from the neighborhood show up. Mom, Grandma, long time no see. Were you well? We're starving. Can you make something to eat right away? Sorry to intrude, mother-in-law. I'm hungry, so please hurry, they demand. Tom and Catherine, who got married a year ago, frequently visit our house like this, appearing suddenly and even asking for pocket money. They seem to know when the mother-in-law's pension comes in. Hey, Grandma, today's the day your pension comes in, right? Sorry, but could you donate a little to us, the less fortunate? I think to myself, it's starting again. Every time. They don't leave until they get the money. Tom, enough is enough. What about your job? Aren't you working? Stop begging for Grandma's precious pension. However, my attempts to intervene usually end in a quarrel. I relay everything to my husband, who's away on business. He just sighs in exasperation, muttering about what a troublemaker our son is for not holding a steady job. What is he even doing? Just got married. And he's already hopeless, my husband remarks. Though he scolds our son over the phone, it seems to have no effect. This constant cycle of their visits leaves my mother-in-law and me exhausted, losing the will to do anything else. I'm tired, really. It's like they drain all my energy, I confess. Initially, we'd endured their visits, thinking it was only 2 or 3 times a month. But their frequency increased, adding to our stress. Then, in the middle of a weekday, my son suddenly arrived home. I got fired from my job, and for a while, I want to live here, he announced. He had been repeatedly absent without leave, even losing a USB containing important company data. Initially facing a pay cut, he ended up fighting with his boss and getting fired. Despite being clearly at fault, he seemed unrepentant. Seriously, none of them even do their jobs properly and act all high and mighty. That's why I hate people who act like they're elite, my son grumbled. He declared his intention to move in next week, dismissing our concerns about his grandmother's health. Despite my attempts to refuse, he remained stubborn, insisting that his decision was final. Faced with his determination, I couldn't help but sigh. If my husband were here, he would sternly scold them and send them away, but I can't stand up to them alone. Hey, Emily, is Tom moving in here? If so, should I go to a facility? I'll be in the way. And those kids aren't even working, my mother-in-law fretted. Don't worry about such things, mother-in-law. I'll make sure Tom gets a job, and he'll be leaving soon, I reassured her. I feel terribly sorry for making my elderly mother-in-law worry like this. We doted on our only son, but we never intended to raise him to be so unreasonable. The son I knew was kind and considerate, but he clearly changed after meeting his wife, Catherine. To ease my mother-in-law's worries, I offer her assurance. I reassured my mother-in-law, "You don't have to worry about anything. I intend to take good care of you." I repeated my explanation several times, and gradually the tension on her face eased. However, the day my son and his wife moved in arrived sooner than expected. Despite having separate bedrooms, we rearranged the rooms to share one, as my mother-in-law felt insecure being alone. Her desire to share a room highlighted her anxiety. Unfortunately, their behavior from the first day was appalling. "Hey, Mom, we're planning to use the entire second floor for our room. That's okay, right? From today, the second floor bathroom is ours only. You guys don't come upstairs, okay? We're still technically newlyweds, and we don't want unnecessary people coming and going, so please understand," my son announced. They even moved all the stuff from my workroom to the hallway on the same day, leaving me speechless. It became clear that if I stayed silent, they would continue to do and say whatever they wanted. My son added, "Mom, the mortgage on this house is still ongoing, right? I don't plan to pay rent until I find a job, nor do I intend to pay for groceries or utilities. So take care of it." Feeling increasingly irritated, I reluctantly responded, "Ah, I see." From then on, I was ignored by my son and his wife. A week passed since they moved in, and there were no signs of my son job hunting. His wife left dirty dishes unwashed, neglected laundry, and they freely used our car without asking, leaving it full of trash and low on gas without refueling. Overwhelmed with responsibilities, my mother-in-law, who should be relaxing, ended up helping with the housework. Realizing this was wrong, I confronted my son. "Tom, are you even job hunting? You can't just stay at home all the time. Do something, at least clean up your dishes." However, he continued to ignore me. Complaining to his wife, he said, "Lately, I've been hearing these hallucinations. Just now, I heard something about job hunting or whatever. We have a place to live and food to eat, so why work? Stupid." They laughed about it, referring to my mother-in-law and me as hallucinations and ghosts. Despite our frustration, my mother-in-law and I decided to let them be for a bit longer, believing our chance for payback would come eventually. We constantly talked about them when they weren't around, discussing our options to get them out of the house and make them regret their actions. Sharing a bedroom, we spent the entire day excitedly discussing our plan in this challenging situation. I might have succumbed to depression if I were facing this alone, but being together makes it feel like we can get through it. Almost 3 years have passed since they moved in, and it's been 3 years since they started ignoring us. Perhaps they think we're ghosts. True, they haven't paid a penny for rent or living expenses. Their savings must be running out soon, right? Indeed, they might be covering their cell phone bills and dining out. But I've heard they're estranged from Catherine's parents, so financial help seems unlikely. They may ignore us now, but surely they'll come to us for help once they run out of money. We decided that's when we'll take our revenge. It was 2 weeks after that conversation, when we were busy preparing for my mother-in-law's clinic visit. I noticed my son acting fidgety since morning, not seeming hungry but searching for something. Knowing he would ignore me if I spoke, I pretended not to notice and left for the hospital. Upon returning home, I discovered my son and his wife were gone, and my bank book was missing. Thinking the worst, I went to check my bedroom. Oh no, my bank book is missing. I'm sure I put it in the back of this drawer. Could it be them? I thought. It was too much, even criminal. My mother-in-law came and asked, "Emily, what's wrong? You look pale. Did something happen?" So, I told her that Tom and Catherine stole my bank book. They took the bank book that was kept here. The house mortgage is $2,000 a month, and on top of that, I've been supporting my son and his wife who haven't paid a penny. This is the result. I didn't expect them to say thank you, but I at least wanted them to show some gratitude. But it's okay now. I will never forgive them. Despite the theft, according to my online banking, no money had been withdrawn from the account yet. I rushed to the bank to close the account. They were mistaken if they thought they could withdraw cash with just the bank book without knowing the PIN and without the seal. The more I thought about it, the angrier I became at my son and his wife. I informed my husband about the stolen bankbook, and he said, "It's over. We can disown them for all I care." My mother-in-law suggested reporting to the police, but we decided to leave the house as quickly as possible, making it our last resort. I couldn't let them run wild anymore and refused to be taken advantage of. Despite feeling sorry for the sudden upheaval, we chose to stay at a hot spring inn until the problem was resolved. Mother-in-law, I'm sorry. I'll work on resolving this issue quickly, so please bear with it here for a while. Don't worry about me. Besides, I'm happy to stay at such a luxurious inn. At that moment, I resolved that once this problem was settled, I would definitely find a comfortable new home for my mother-in-law. A few days later, after completing various procedures, I finally had a moment to relax. Then, unexpectedly, I received a call much sooner than I had anticipated, and of course, the caller was my son. "Hello, Mom. You haven't been home lately. Are you on a trip?" Grandma's not there either, so I was just wondering what happened and got worried, he said, his voice clearly trembling and upset. It's odd, isn't it? He ignored me for 3 years, yet now he can talk when he's in trouble. What's the matter? This is the first time you've spoken to me in 3 years. Do you need something? By the way, I have no business with you guys. Don't say that, please. I don't understand, but we received a notice to vacate the house by the end of the month. It's our own house, so what's going on? He explained. The real estate agent, outraged by our story, had swiftly proceeded with the paperwork, sending the eviction notice within 2 days. Impressed by the real estate agent's prompt action, I decided to reveal the truth to my son. "Ah, that house. I sold it because I thought it was no longer needed, and it seems the new buyer wants you to leave soon." "What? Even if you say that, we have nowhere to live. Where are you and Grandma now?" "We'll come there," my son pleaded, still trying to use us even in this situation. Enough is enough, I thought. Why are you crying to me now? What a pathetic man. You freeloaded for 3 years, ignoring me and Grandma. Isn't that a bit too convenient? Just so you know, I intend to cut ties with you. Your father agrees with this decision. Don't say that, please. I didn't mean it. I wanted to get along with you and Grandma, and I'm looking for a job too. My son replied, spilling lies that astonished both my mother-in-law and me. If he had shown genuine remorse, we might have reconsidered, but he had already crossed the line by stealing the bankbook. By the way, you stole my bankbook from the bedroom, didn't you? What were you planning to do with it? You thought as long as you got the money, everything would be fine, right? Lying won't do you any good. No, that's not. I could tell from the other end of the phone that my son was on the verge of tears. Then, realizing my son was useless, his wife took the phone. "Hey, what do you think you're doing? Kicking your son and his wife out of their house. Doesn't your heart ache? Are you a demon?" Just as I anticipated what she would say next, my daughter-in-law unleashed a barrage of hysterical insults. She went so far as to claim, "You're just living off Grandma's pension too. You're no different from Tom, acting all high and mighty without a job." I was so shocked that I froze for a moment, mouth hanging open. "Joeless, do you think I could pay off the mortgage of that big house if I were jobless? I've been paying $2,000 every month, and for your information, I'm not jobless," I retorted. It felt pointless to reveal the truth. Her level of unawareness was apparent. In reality, I earned about $5,000 a month from my remote work. Still, I saw no need to share these details with them. If they had seen the bank book's contents, they might have figured it out. "But hey, Catherine, you're jobless too. Yet you always wear branded items. Where did you get those?" "I think the one acting strange here is you," I pointed out. I suspected, though couldn't confirm, that she was in debt, always carrying new designer bags and wallets. Even my son, before being fired, worked at a decent company and earned a fair salary. It seemed like she was the one who ruined everything. "I have no intention of prying into your private affairs, but if you're in debt, you'd better deal with it quickly before things get out of hand. Also, please leave that house as soon as possible. I'll take my leave now. Despite having more to say, I decided to let them face their impending doom on their own. After hanging up, I ignored all the apology emails from my son. My husband, who had also been contacted, dismissed them with even colder words than I did. We have been ignored until now, but it was our turn to ignore them. They should thoroughly enjoy their hellish lives. A few months later, I heard that the couple had moved out of the house into a shabby apartment. Catherine had accumulated a significant amount of debt. Although my son tried to initiate a divorce, they decided to repay the debt together since it was also in his name. With both of them jobless, they struggled to repay and were now busy working while being chased by debt collectors. Their hellish life continued, but they should try their best to overcome it. As for me, I'm currently considering a house to live in with my mother-in-law. My husband is likely to return from his business trip soon, so we're planning to live together in a comfortable house, enjoying a peaceful and happy life.